Good morning, everyone. This is Teacher Aldrin, and I will be your teacher in English. So for today, we will be learning about communicative or speech styles, as you can see on your screen. And in the last 2 weeks, we have learned about modal verbs and conditionals, which was discussed last week. So for us to be guided in our lesson for today about communicative styles, let us have our guiding star. So what is our guiding stars for today's lesson? For us to be aware of what are we supposed to be doing. In this lesson, it focuses on the use of different communication styles for various situations. So this also deals with the speech styles, portraying how a language is characterized in terms of degree of formality. These styles include the casual, formal, consultative, frozen, and intimate. So these are the 5 communicative styles which we are going to discuss later on. So in this lesson, we are expected to distinguish the types of communicative styles, which I was mentioned earlier, and provide words or expressions that are appropriate to a given situation. You are also expected to determine the vocabulary or jargons expected of a communicative style. So when we say jargons, these are the words that is used by a certain profession. Let's say, for example, you are a doctor. Definitely there are vocabulary words that you are that are affiliated to you, such as, let's say, for example, cardiac arrest, and other medical terms that we can associate to a medical practitioner. And apart from that, as you are going to identify social situations in which each communicative style is appropriate to use. And lastly, you are going to employ appropriate communicative styles or speech styles for various situations. I know that all of us are engaged into communication every day, and more likely we are engaged into a conversation with our friends, with our family members, or even with our loved ones, and into the group that we belong with. And there is a degree of formality whenever we deal with this different types of entities or group of people that we are talking to. All right. So as we move further, let us first have a flashback of what we have discussed last time. If you remember, we discussed about conditionals, whereas it is defined as statements that expresses the result of a particular condition. So if there is a condition, definitely there is an expected outcome or result of that specific condition. And apart from that, we have also learned that there is 2 halves or 2 parts of our conditionals. We have the if clause or the when clause, which presents or that present the condition, while the other part is called as the main clause, which explains the results or the outcomes of that specific condition that is being given beforehand. More than that, it says here that conditionals or conditional statements may appear in both affirmative and negative structures. When we say affirmative, it might be agreeable or positive, okay, to the person or group of people that we are talking to. When we see negative structure, there is negation from the statement that is being expressed in order to persuade other people to believe on the things that you believed in. So in a statement, conditionals may appear first before the main clause. So most of the clauses or conditionals that we have discussed in its form or structure, you will see that most of our if clauses comes first before the main clause. Okay, so if the main clause appears before conditional, the meaning of the sentence remain the same. So we can interchange the clauses. So we can start with the main clause followed by the if clause. But it says here clearly that the meaning or the sentence itself remains the same. All right. But the difference in terms of the structure is that we put comma if we start with the if clause and is followed by the main clause. But when the main clause starts first, definitely there's no need for us to put comma. Understood? And there are also 4 types of conditionals that we have tackled. We have the 0, first, second, and third conditionals. And all these types of conditionals differ in terms of structure. And for me to know if you really understood about the conditionals or type of conditionals that we have tackled, I want you to comment down the structures for each type of conditionals. So for those who will answer and share their thoughts, that will serve as your recitation in my class. So moving forward, without any further ado, let us start with the first type of our communicative style, which is the casual. Maybe you're thinking of the casual attire or dressing that whenever you hear the word casual, right? But this time we are talking to the degree of formality or communication. So what do we mean by casual? So what do you see from the picture? Okay, so as you can see, there are 2 people on the lower right or lower left. Okay, and the other one are our group of people, okay, that are having a conversation among themselves. Okay, so let us go deeper on its meaning. So when we say casual, it is said here that this is an informal language used by friends and peers. So if you have spoken often with your friends or your playmates or so whosoever they are that are closest to you, most likely we are engaged into an informal language. So how are we going to consider that we are into casual style? So by simply using slang words, vulgarities, and colloquialism, and informal contractions such as ain't, do know, gonna, wanna, I wanna eat, I'm gonna go to Avalon Zoo. Okay, so these are normal in this type of speech styles because you are just speaking to the person, okay, who can understand your language. Okay, might as well it is informal still, it is under casual conversation. So this uses group language. So only members of the group can understand it. So from here also, we use nicknames of the person that we are talking to. So whenever we address them or whenever we speak to them. So that is all about casual conversation. So what are the other examples that we can give under casual style? So let's get to know those. So we have here the everyday conversation with your buddies or friend. So that is an example of a casual conversation. Also, a personal message and personal emails to someone who are closest to you. And we also blogs. In our blogs, it is our right, whatever language we may use to it. Just like just like in Wattpad, I noticed that some of the writers are using words that are words that are easy to understand by the readers, most especially the youth. They use terms that are very uh, words where the youth are acquainted to it, or should I say words that are words where the youth are acquainted to. Okay, so we can consider that as part of a casual style. We also have tweets, your letter to your friends, okay, and phone calls with the persons who are closest to you. Next is, okay, so we have consultative from the word itself, consult. And as shown in the picture, there are two pictures on your screen. You see a doctor and a patient, okay? Whereas the patient is asking for, for a prescription of her sickness. Likewise, the doctor also asked how she feels so that he could give proper medications to the woman. Okay, so there is an act of consultation between the two people. Likewise, in the second picture that we have, a teacher and the student, whereas a student is asking for clarification on something that is vague or not clear or complex to her, and the teacher would give her the or would teach her the proper way, or to give her, what do you think, it might be an advice or a way as to how the learners will be able to accomplish the task being given to her, okay, or make things clear to her, okay, on the things that are vague on her part. So that is all about consultative. So now let's dip into the meaning itself. So it is used in semi-formal communication. Okay, so whereas the sentence tend to be shorter and spontaneous. So here is the problem, okay, and then you give the answer right away. So that's how the conversation on the consultative style transpire or happen. So it happens in two-way participation. So there are two persons involved under consultative. But in today, there are consultative meeting being held too. Okay, so there is one focal person and there are a group of people who are asking for a consultation from that focal person or expert. Understood? It also uses unplanned speech. There's no need for you to plan the things that you are going to say to people. Okay? So it relies more on the wisdom that you have. So this is the normal style for speaking to strangers or persons who are neither acquaintances. These are the persons whom you just met today, okay? Or coincidentally, you just met them or should I say you have encountered them unexpectedly, and then you have engaged into a small talk or conversation. So it could also be speaking to your friends or relatives. So what are the examples under consultative? So we have the regular conversation at schools. Okay, let's say for example, when your parents are asking for your progress report card. So why is my child's grade is failing? And the teacher, your teacher would say that um, her scores in her exams and quizzes are quite low, that which affects the performance of your daughter. And after giving those statements, the teacher would give her suggestions, okay, recommendations to the parents as to how the child or the learner will improve his or her academic performance. So that's how a conversation happens in a school, okay, or in our class. Okay, there is also a consultation that happens in our class. If there are things that are unclear on your end, then you can ask your teacher, and then your teacher will give you the the answer to all of those quest or queries you have in mind. So I've already gave you an example about teacher student and doctor and patient. And we also have the expert and apprentice. Okay. So there's also consultation between the two of these two people in the same practice. Just like us when we are still a student or a student teacher. So we are under the care of our cooperating teacher in the public schools, whereas they are guiding us. We ask for something. What are we supposed to do when our classes are noisy? What are the strategies that we need to be um, uh, incorporating or to be doing so that we can manage our class well? So our cooperating teacher who serve as an expert in the field, they would give us suggestions and recommendations as to how we are going to handle things right. Okay, so that is all about expert and apprentice. Okay, so we're in consultation happens too. And apart from that, so the third one, we have the formal from the word itself. And as you can see from the photo that I have uh, shared on my screen. So as you can see, there is a meeting. So if I'm not mistaken, that's President Putin. Okay. So there is a meeting with his cabinet members. And on the other side is an interview. Okay. An interviewer and the interviewee. So they are engaged into a formal communication. So let us know further about formal communication and how it differs to the other communicative styles. So in the formal speeches are straightforward speeches. When we say straightforward speeches, it goes directly to its purpose. There's no need for you to say this and that, but you go straight to the point. Okay, so you go with your agenda. So this is my agenda, and I will speak only with my agenda. Okay, so it is used in speaking to large groups, just like what you have seen in the photo, and is impersonal in nature. So it's more likely you are speaking with the your focus is on the agenda itself. Okay, so there's no such personal thing involved in here. Understood? So we have here, speaker must frame whole sentences ahead before they are delivered. What does that mean? Okay, so you already have a glimpse of the things that you were going to deliver or you are going to say before the people you are going to talk to. So that's how it is. Just like the president, before he appears to his or her cabinet, he needs to look into the topics that he or she is going to tackle or to discuss with his cabinet members. Okay, we also avoid using slang terminologies. We are not allowed to use slang words. These are words that are commonly used by the people that we see around. Okay, and uses formal English. So that's it. Language is comparatively rigid and has a set, okay, agreed upon vocabulary, structured complex sentences, and noun phrases. So that's how formal communicative styles goes. So you have to be cautious whenever you engage into a formal conversation. There's no need for you to use other their pen name or nicknames. You have to address them. You can address them by their complete name or by their surname. Let's say using Mr. Duterte, Mr. Soto, Miss Arroyo. So that's how are we going to address them whenever we speak to the people, okay, who are into the business of into a business meeting rather. Okay, so what are the other examples of formal communicative style? So we have meetings, we have speeches, okay, school lessons, court proceedings, and interview. So these are just a few examples under formal communications. So that's it. And we also have the frozen. When we say frozen, it's not the frozen that you knew. Okay, the things that you see in the fridge. All right. So frozen, as you can see, there is you might be confused on the photos that you are. Why is it frozen? Why there's a flag? Why there are Marines in there? Why there's a beach wedding? So let's get to know about frozen style. Okay, so frozen, so this type of communicative style rarely or never changes. Okay, it says there, style rarely or never changes. It is frozen in time and content. It is generally used in a very formal setting. Okay, this is the most formal communicative style for a respectful situation. Why? Because it has a specific or has a fixed and static language and uses long sentences with command or grammar. It becomes frozen because it is a fixed style of delivering a spiel, just like in the church. So we follow specific activities, okay, or words that we are going to use. Understood? Okay, so let us dip into the meaning of frozen. It says here that this type of communicative style rarely or never changes. Okay, so it is frozen in time and content. It is generally used in a formal or in a very formal setting. this is the most formal communicative style for a respectful situation, just like the ceremonies that we are attending to, just like national anthem, the wedding, church activities. So it has fixed and static language and uses long sentences with command of grammar. So in Frozen, why is it said Frozen? It because the words that we are going to use is already fixed. Understood? So there's no need for us to make use of other skills because the things that we are going to utter, okay, are already fixed. Just like in the church, the priest has already a spiel that he needs to memorize, okay, because they are following a ceremony, okay, or they have their doctrine, so they know the flow of the the ceremonies that they're going to be doing in that specific occasion or situation. So if I am not mistaken, in the Catholic, so they have the 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 priest himself has to spiel to say, and also likewise on the part of the attendees, they are also aware of what they are going to say right after the priest speak up. So if you're going to look into it, there is already a fixed dialogue or speech that they are expected to say. Likewise, also in the other churches. Understood? So that's how it is. And also in our national anthem, it is, as you can see, it is never changed. Okay, the national anthem itself remains the same. Understood? So that's it. Okay, that's how Frozen is. It is frozen because the thing that they're going to say is fixed. Okay, it's non-negotiable. So what are the example of Frozen? So we have the national anthem, the pledge or pledge of loyalty, the prayer. Okay, there are some prayers that are fixed, just like the Our Father. Okay, we also have speech for state ceremonies. Okay, it is also fixed because before they deliver that speech, it was already written. Okay, they're just going to deliver it to the people whom they are speaking to. And we also have marriage ceremonies. Okay, there are prepared speeches for the priest and the couples who are getting married. So that's how Frozen style goes. And lastly is intimate. So maybe some of you are engaged into this. I know for sure that you are thinking of a lover often whenever you hear the word intimate, which is very true. Okay, let's say for example, you are in a relationship. Okay, I'm not into this because I don't have a relationship. Okay, so kidding aside, so intimate as you can see in the picture. So we have a couple here, and the other photo are siblings, okay, who are looking into their I don't know if it's tablet or an iPad. It's so big. I think it's a laptop. Okay, they're having or watching together and conversing together at the same time on the things that is happening on the video that they're watching for. So that's how intimate things happen. So how intimate goes. So in this type of communicative style, Okay, it applies to conversational experiences between and/or among people who share intimate relationships. Okay, it is usually done in private. Okay, these are the things that you only knew, okay, together with your partner. Not only to your partner, but also to your parents, to your siblings. I know for sure that there is one in your family whom you are sharing your secrets in life. Understood? Okay, so in that case, we are uh, in the practice of intimate uh, conversation with them. So this also shows no social boundaries among the speakers considering their intimacy. That's why there's a saying that our friends knows us better than our parents or than our family members. Would you agree on that? For me, I uh, I totally agree to it because there are things that my family doesn't know. Family doesn't know. Okay, some of my secrets are being shared to my friends. Likewise, yours, for sure. Okay, so this also employs informal and intimate language. So oftentimes, this happens to a conversation between a partner, like what I have said, a girlfriend and a boyfriend, or a partner, a couple. It also happens to your very best friend or good friends, and to your favorite siblings. So this can happen to so many situations, not only to lovers. Understood? Okay, so that's it, what it is. So let's have the following examples. When you're sharing your secrets between your friends, okay, in that way we can employ casual conversation. And parents talking about their family goals, that is also an example of an intimate conversation. And meditation, when we say meditation, of course, when we are meditating, we are trying to speak with in our mind. Let's say, for example, when we're praying to God. So that is a form of meditation also. Understood? Or there is a piece of verse that we have read and we're trying to digest it in our mind, in our soul. And in that way, in itself, is an example of a casual, an intimate conversation. So that's it. Those are the 5 communicative styles that we are expected to learn in this afternoon. So we have discussed about both the frozen, the intimate, the consultative, the formal, the casual conversations. So those are the 5 important communicative or speech styles that we are expected to learn today. So is there any question? Are there questions rather or clarifications that we need to uh, know? Okay, so if you have, please do comment it in the comment section so that we can answer your questions or clarifications. Or if you have suggestion or recommendation, do not hesitate to put all your answers in the comment section. So now let's move on to our activities. So for our activities, you will be working with your, okay, in learning, you will be working with learning task number 1. You are going to read and analyze the following statements carefully. You observe the language that is used in each item. And then afterwards, you are just going to copy and answer the table below in your notebook or pad paper, or you can also make use of the Microsoft Word if you are convenient, okay, in using it. And you will be working also in learning test number 2. You're just going to choose the letter of the correct answer. And in number 3, there are 3 questions that you need to answer. What are the different types of communicative styles? What vocabulary or language is employed in each type of communicative or speech style? Okay, you're just going to differentiate the 3 communicative styles. And how important is knowing what speech style is used in any situation or place or a person's. We have to remember this, that whenever we speak to different people, there are different communicative styles or speech styles that we need to employ. So we cannot be casual when we are talking to someone who is professional. Okay, when we're talking about professional thing, understood, and so on and so forth. Apart from that is you are going to, in learning, you will be working with learning task number 4. You are going to identify which style is referred to by each picture being shown in each number. So you're just going to write the letter of your answers. And in learning task number 5, that's very basic. You are going to identify the type of speech style that is appropriate for the following situations by choosing your answer from the pool of words. And in number 6, you are just going to choose the best speech or message that matches the situation. Just write the letter of your answer for each number. And you are also expected to be working on learning task number 8. You are just going to choose the letter of the correct answer. So, and lastly, learning task number 5, read the text below, identify and explain the communicative style used in each text. Okay, so those are the learning tasks that you are expected to be working to. And lastly, you are expected to answer this. Complete the reflections. What are the different communicative styles are? Or the different communicative styles are? Number 2, we use blank style during blank. Okay, you are going to enumerate all communicative styles. And lastly, it is important that we know what communicative style we are going to use in a certain situation because state your answer. All right. So if you still have questions on the activities that we are going to do or to be working to, please do not hesitate to ask me in the comment section. Okay, so let's call this a day. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have learned. And by next week, we will be having a quiz relative to conditional. And of course, our topic today, which is communicative style. And then it will be held in the morning. And by afternoon is our examination. I was thinking if we can do our examination by Friday. So I'll just give you an announcement to it. Okay? So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have learned.